Agud Voch Raboisai. Lili Nishmas Imi Miros Mordechai. Good Voch. After going through Friday's wordy and repetitive daf, we ended with the Tana Debei Rabbi Shmuel that stated that sometimes a pasuk will include a lot of extra words just to bring out one chiddush. It seems that the daf itself may be designed to illustrate that entire concept, as you pointed out. Usually when the Gemara has a drush, a match off between two Tanoim or Amoraim, just uses the word v'idach to switch between the sides. But here the Gemara went all out to be repetitive, perhaps to bring home the point of the last piece of Rabbi Shmuel also. Thanks for your explanations of Klal Prat Klal and Ribuy Miyut Ribuy. The contrast will now stick with me throughout our travels through Shas. Looking forward to continuing the adventure. Koltuv, Multi Rosenberg, non-Everglades division of Florida MDY. We have the Everglades division, we have the non-Everglades, and we have Miami, we have North Miami, we have Boca. What else? Huh? Betchitrit is in charge of everything, all the divisions and the non-divisions. He makes it non. Dear Rebelli, your Talmud says Beit Tzadav Beis from Boramwood. No. Pronounce Boramwood. That's what it says here. How do you pronounce it? Boramwood. Maybe the way he pronounced it was a shtickle. Okay. He wrote it Boram wood. Boramwood. Okay. How? Thought you share for the daf today, Bava Kama 64 was masterful, such klorkite superb. Also wanted to say thanks for the Hebrew share for the following reasons. It makes the English one even clearer, especially the jokes and the stories. It gives me a chance to thank my year 7 Ivrit teacher at Hashmonaim, Rabbi Jeffrey Schisler, as it's thanks to him I can understand the shir. It's also another great way to feel connected to Achenu Beis Yisrael, so thanks for that as well. Thanks again, your Talmud Mark. P.S. Thanks also to Dov Harris and the UK team for my smartphone stand, which brings further geschmack to the daf, either in Ivrit or English. Gewaldig. The Koilo. Manchester. It's mamish growing. There's a guy in the back taking a video of the video. Shalom Aleichem. We don't see. Oh, that's Yossi Dahari. I see the face. I don't see the face. Yossi, bang down a little bit. Gewaldig. Okay. Nanas from Lakewood. Refuah Tinoik Ben Malka. That's the koila of the month. The Masechta. Sponsored for the unity of Am Yisrael. Paras HaChodesh. Yosef and Chaya Sara for all the zchusim that come from supporting limud Torah. I met a Chayal that lives mamish next door, Shragi, you guys know him? I don't even know if the Olam knows this. Do you know that on day 1 a helicopter went down? They shot down a helicopter? A lot of people don't even know. He was on that helicopter.
You don't know it because they don't advertise it.
Oh, they don't want people to know? No. I saw a video of it. I told him, I told his brother, I don't believe it's true, and they sent me a clip that was on the news. Okay.
Don't say anymore.
We're not going to say it again. And nobody's listening. It's only Moshe Shabbos. Who's listening? It's 10 people here. So anyways, I spoke to him at length. It's crazy. Like 60 chayalim were on this thing. And they all walked out in one piece. And yeah, they need a real refuah. Just the amount of stuff that he was in Berry. Him and his whole group were in Berry the day of. And they got rid of all the mchablim over there. And the things that they saw from the enemy and the non-enemy, it's unbelievable. They need a real refuah. Refuah nefesh or refuah haguf. Koil of the month. We said the Paras HaChodesh. Yosef ben Chaya Sara for the zchusim that come from supporting limud Torah. Paras HaChodesh. Yedidya Pereira. The zchus zivug hagum b'koroiv. Chana Rochel bas Michal. Chayim David ben Shulamis. ושושנה ברכה bas Shulamis. Paras HaChodesh. Rav Noam, Avi, Gary, and Yosef for all the relentless commitment to MDY. Paras HaChodesh, zchariya ben Moshe, zchariya bas Yosef. Paras HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman, it should be a zchus to rebel if you continue to see out the Shema and teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. Paras HaChodesh, lilu nishmas kol chayalei tzahal shenaflu al kiddush Hashem. Paras HaChodesh, in memory of Binyomin Airley from Anonymous in Manchester, who joined the shir at the beginning of Saita. And believe it or not, there's no Parnas Hayom. The art of the month, sponsored anonymous for the zchus for an easy childbirth for his daughter and a healthy baby. Rabbi said, I have a tough one today. First of all, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Shlomo Fried.
Shlomo? Fried. What's the first name? Shlomo. Fried. From?
Manchester.
Ooh, said hello to the Chevra over there. They were on before. They're saying hello. They're waving to you now. Who else do we have here? So it's against this is only England. And you're also from England, Rabbi Schoenberg. So Moshe, you're not supposed to be, you're like, you feel a little, I also feel a little awkward. You let everybody in. Okay. Givaldik. Benach, we have any, that's it. No guess, huh? Who? I don't see. No, you're new. You haven't been here a while. Yeah. He's been there many times. Baruch Hashem. You're facing this way. You don't see. Okay, he comes for the Hebrew one. Rabbi Sai, I have a shayla like this. I want the to think, not the guys that were here on Friday. Huh? No. I don't know. You're new? Kacha. I've seen you around. No, what's your name? Newman? Naftali? Noman. Okay. Shalom Aleichem, Naftali. Where do you live? Gimel. There's a bunch of guys from Gimel. You're from Gimel. You were here before. Okay, good. Givaldik. So I have a shayla like this. Don't fall asleep in the beginning. It is a good one. You have a shomer chinam who wants to keep the object that they gave him to watch, and he lies and he says it was stolen, and he goes ahead and he shechs this animal, and he's chayiv dalad v'hei. He swore that it was stolen, then we find out that he's lying. He made a shvuas, sheker, so he's chayiv the keren, choymesh. What's choymesh? 25%. He's chayiv dalad v'hei. He's chayiv depends. Let's say dalad. He's always 4 times the amount. Okay? So I have a question. Is it possible for the 25%? So let's take an example. He stole a sheep that cost $100. So he has to pay back $100. He also has to pay $400 because he has to 4 times the amount. Who gets the 400? The guy that owned the animal. He also has to pay a choymesh, 25%. So how much is 25%? $25. Is it possible that the choymesh, instead of it being $25, is actually $400? That the choymesh and the dalad v'hei equal the same amount? Or the kefil? Huh? We're going to see. It's in the sugi. Why not? He has to pay keren b'choymesh for shvuah sheker. So the answer is yes, and it's a gevaldige thing. It's like it's a riddle. How do you get there? How do you get to this amount? How is it possible that the kefil and the choymesh are the same amount? Kefil, let's call it kefil. $200, and the choymesh, which is supposed to be 25% of the object that he stole, is also $200. Anybody have a havamina how to come up? It's a riddle. How do you do it? There's 2 ways, 2 completely different ways. All right. So we're holding on Daf Samach Dalet Amud Beis, 8 lines from the bottom. Ve'ema ganav atzmei b'shvuah. We're just learning. Let's see if we have it here. No, okay, we don't have that. We'll go later. But we're learning the sugya of ganav and tain is ganav. A guy that's a shomer chinam claims that it was stolen. Then we find out he didn't. He has to pay kefil, but he makes a shvuah, he swears. So the Gemara says, Ve'ima ganav atzmoi b'shvuah. Maybe the guy that steals, a real ganav has to make a shvuah also, just like a guy that's toyin his ganav has to make a shvuah. Says the Gemara, the Tanya Rabbi Yaakov Oimer, Shnayim Yishalem. No, it says in the pasuk you pay twice. Shloi b'shvuah, it means shloi b'shvuah, without a shvuah. Ata Oimer shloi b'shvuah, ain't b'shvuah. Maybe it is with a shvuah. We know a ganav doesn't make a shvuah, but why not? Amris loika Chaya, also an interesting lashon. My loika Chaya, what does it mean? Amar Abaya lo lichtay rachmona shnayim yishalem beganav v'leisi begavachoymer metoyin tainas ganav. The whole makar of a ganav, don't even say it. You'll learn the whole idea of ganav from a guy that claims that it was stolen. A shomer chinam that claims it was stolen. By the way, we're going into real sugis now. We're done. We're done with the whole klal prat klal sugi. Don't get nervous. A guy that claims, he pretends to be a ganav. Yeah? A guy that says that he claims it was stolen and turns out that he himself stole it. But he didn't go ahead and steal. It came into his rishos as a shomer. He was not a ganav. He's Erlich, Gartel, the whole thing. He was just watching the thing from somebody. He didn't go steal. He's not going to steal something. But he decided that he had a tithe, he wanted it. Nevertheless, he has to pay kefil twice. So sort of you're a ganav, and you go in the middle of the night with a flashlight, and you take it out, of course you have to pay twice. So then why does the Torah say again, he should pay kefil? It's pasha that a ganav pays kefil. And the chiddush is, that's it. The reason why the Torah said it, I can learn the whole idea of ganav from a guy that's toyin tanas ganav. But what I can't learn out from a toyin tanas ganav is, toyin tanas ganav needs a shvua. He doesn't need a shvua. So that's why the Torah talks about it. Says the Gemara, so now, this pasuk, this whole pasuk that we learned, we went back and forth, either teaches us that a ganav pays kefil in all items, the alive, not alive, computers, bikes, everything, or this huge chiddush that Rav said that a moide b'knas potter, a guy that admits to something that would require him to pay twice. If kefil is a knas, if he admits to it, he doesn't have to pay. Even if Eidim come afterwards and they get him. Since he came a minute before the Eidim showed up, he's potter. So we learn it from this pasuk, Yimatzi Timatzi. So as the Gemara, how can we learn anything from this pasuk? We need for something else. Look at the Sanya. Yodai. So it happens to be I saw this today. I said it over on Friday. I saw it inside today. Rav Nachman says that a mashal, a guy goes in the street with his hand like this. So they come over and say, "What's in your hand?" I think it's like Simon Vav or something. And what's in your hand? He says, "I can only tell people that are roy to hear." Keeps on going, and then another guy comes by. And finally, he opens up his hand and he says, "This is garnished. It's nothing." She says, "That's the Yitzhahara. The Sara keeps on enticing people, but he doesn't offer anything. At the end of the day, it's nothing." So yesh lahoisif. I said this on Friday. I thought that he said it, but he doesn't. Yesh lahoisif that then like a day later, the same guy comes with his hand, the right hand. At first he's the left hand, now he's the right hand. Nachamal. Oh, guess what I have in here? So who's going to be a fool to fall for him? But that's what the Yitzhahara does. He keeps on offering us to garnish, and then he keeps on doing it again. Oh, you're curious to see what it is and how it is. Okay. Learn for the first time. It's Motzei Shabbos. Tzaddik. I know, but it's Motzei. Why Dafka Motzei Shabbos? Okay. Zog the Gemara. How do I know? I know that if a guy steals with his hands, he's a real ganav. But what about this? What about gagoy chatzei v'karfifu minayin? So I just want to show the Olam. I forgot what it was. Maybe it's Shapsai. The covered you. It's like you should keep on showing. He left. That's it. He got insulted. He's gone. So if things crash, tell him maybe go upstairs. He's out of here. So how do you back in Erevin Daf Ayin Dalad? I got reshus from the guy from Pirush Chai, zchusim levrach. He was nifter already. He wrote a whole pirush on Erevin, on Sukkah, even like with a pencil. He gave me reshus, and I upgraded it to color. Here, let me show you color. I was all impressed. Yeah, yeah. I was able to do straight lines, karfav, gag, chutz. Anyways, that's then. This is today. Fast forward a couple of years. This is a gag. Basically, a guy traps something on his roof. Here, this is even cooler. This is not stam a picture. This even has movement. Yeah, but it's stolen for this. And he closes his door behind in the chatzar. There's a chatzar. What's a karfav? Oh, yishmak karfav. It's a giant yard that you store things in. So how do you know that if something goes in there, here, you can see, I lock up a truck in there, I'm a ganav. Anyway, you come upon this item, I don't care if it's in your hand, on your chutz or your gag, whatever it is, you are chayiv as a ganav. But akoparami matziti matz is already taken and used already. You can't use it for gneva, for kefil, for all this stuff. Says Gemara Kain, but there's two limudim here. Le'mekra oy himatzi, both of them with a hey. Himatzi. Oy timatzi, starting with a tough. Timatzi. What's himatzi? So first of all, we have a limud, we have a double lashon. Two words. It could say im himatzi biyadai. What's the double lashon? The second thing is that they're different words. Use the same word. Why using two different words? So we have two limudim here. One to teach us that a ganav pays kefil, or whatever other limud you want to learn, like Rav, that Maliknas Potter, even though Adam came afterwards. The other limud is that I know that you're a ganav even if you catch it in your backyard. We had a similar thing by Hasech Nesech Sheikhel Hashem that the Gemara learns is double lashon. It should have said Hasech. What's Hasech Nesech? So we learned this idea that there's two nisuchim, is that a word? Nisuchim, one of water, one of wine. Okay. Okay, Zok the Gemara Gufa. Omer Rav, Keren, Kein Chigonav. So if you recall, we had four words that were extra in the pasuk. Once we went to Ribui Miyot Ribui, so Ribui Miyot Ribui means that it includes everything. The opposite of, we'll do a little chazara, 10 seconds. Klal Pratu Klal doesn't include anything. It includes very limited amount. Something that's very similar to the Prat. And every extra word, shar, chamar, a shar adds, another thing, it adds, but I think maybe, kids, each one adds a little bit. Shar, chamar, seh. A ribu miyod is the opposite. Ribu includes everything. And each one of these extra words takes something off. Takes karka, evet, shtar. But the last one, I'm just bringing it for the last one. The last one is gneva and chayim. What did we learn? We brought it yesterday. Gneva and chayim is ke'en chigonav. That what? Omer Rav, Keren, ke'en chigonav. So this is today's sugi Rabbi Yisai. So you got to remember these words. Keren, ke'en chigonav. When you pay back the principal, the Keren, it's exactly like the time he stole it. Whatever it was worth back then, that's how much you have to give back. We're going to see that it's not exactly that. We're going to see Lamaskana, I'm just giving you the heads up. Keren is the greater of the two. So if today it's worth more, you're going to pay more. If it's worth less, you have to always pay the higher amount, okay? If it was worth more when you stole it, so pay more. If today's worth more, pay more today. But Dal Dehei says Rav, V'tashlume Dal Arba V'chamisha Kishas Hamoda B'din. Okay? Whether the price goes up, whether the price goes down, says Rav, Tashlume Arba V'chamisha Kishas Hamoda B'din. So we got to get this straight in our head because it could be a little confusing back and forth. Keren is Kishas Hagzela, Ke'en Shiganav, the time he stole. Tashlumi Arba V'chamisha is Hamoda B'din. Today, what does Bezdin say it's worth? How much do you have to pay? That's how much you have to pay 4 times and 5 times. My time of the Rav. Omakro, Gneva V'chaim. So that's what he does with those extra words. Gneva V'chaim is Kein Shiganav. Amai Komer Achmon Chaim B'Gneva. What's the connection between life and theft? Achie Lekeren Kein Shiganav. Make him alive again, like at the time that it was stolen. You have to pay Keren, the main thing, the principal, as the time it was stolen. In other words, you steal a cow that's worth $500, and now today he's old and nobody wants to buy him anymore. He's worth $100. You have to pay the $500. Why? Achye lekeren. Bring him alive. Omer Rav Sheshes. This is the famous lashon. We had it once, and we're going to have it again in this Masechta. Amino kinayim v'shochav Rav Omer lo shmaitza. It seems to me that Rav was Pashat falling asleep, like this picture that Yoshi did for the Shatsi. Then I asked him what this was, and if you recall, we had it just a few weeks ago, that I said over Pshat from Rav Adas, that he stood there for over an hour and a half with his eyes closed, and he said a Pshat about being blind and not seeing, and it's easier to fall asleep. Okay, Rav never looked anywhere. That's why Rav Sheshes, who was his Talmud Muvak, asked to be blind. Ganzazach. Okay. He didn't go into that part, but it's Yidua. Rav Sheshes. So just to point out, it's not a shtoch to Rav. Rav Sheshes was his Talmud Muvak. He loved Rav. He admired him and he respected him. He wouldn't talk like that. What he said is that since Rav said such a thing that just doesn't make any sense, it must be that Rav was on the verge of falling asleep. So he wasn't considered conscious. And he said it's like almost a silly thing. Why? If the animal was a weak animal and he stole the animal and he was weak. Vishmina. And it became really heavy. Big, gesunte animal, worth much more money. Again, let's do Chazara. What does Rav say? Rav says, Arba v'chamisha is like kishas hamad bedin. What is the word today? So today, it's a nice gesunte animal. You're going to pay, it's $500 today. When you stole it's $100 today, you're going to pay $2,000 for 4 times. 5 times, don't ask me. That's already Panovich math. We're not going to get into it. Okay? 4 times 500, I know. It's $2,000. But not, now he says Mefurish. No, the $100. You pay $400 because that's what it was. Amri Yishum Domar Lei. So we have a teretz. Amri. Again, it says the word Amri here. Bishum Domar Lei. Ano Patimno Va'achakalt. Oh, we have a Gishmaka picture here. I blew this guy up. I worked. The guy, you see, he's wearing the mask, the whole thing. I caused them all this value. So how's it possible? I'm going to cause the value, you're going to take the profits? Not only are you going to take the profits, you're going to charge me 4 times that profit. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, good. So we'll give you that one. So Rav Sheshes doesn't have such a stark time. But what about this? Tashma. Shmeino v'khisha, the exact opposite story. That what? That the animal started out mamish gesund. V'khisha, he hit him with the stick, says Rashi. He worked him hard, made him plow all these fields. And today, he's mamish weak. Over here, you don't have an excuse. Over here, went down in value. He stole it when it was gesund, went down in value now, and you have to pay kein shigonav. But according to Rav, you don't pay kein shigonav, you pay kishas hamod bedin. Hasavnami mishum damrinle mali katla kulo mali katla palga. Okay. This is a harder svara to understand than Rashi, but we go with Rashi. Rashi says like this. Rashi says that when you have to pay like the time of Tavach v'mochar, at the end when you shecht it, says Rashi, what the Gemara means to say here is that when you shecht it, you pay like now. Says Rashi, when you make it weak, it didn't happen in 1 minute. It's a long process. It takes a long time to get to that point. So in Mela, you caused this animal to lose value. So you're right. You're going to go backwards to the point when you started making it weak. Malikot kula, malikot palgo. In Chabad they say, I said it on Friday because it was the yard side of the Baal Tanya, he says that when a person doesn't eat something, he's misgaber and his taivas not to eat something, moisrus. So we say when you fast that the chaylev and the dam that we lost, so you're taking something from your guf. He says mali katla palga, mali katla kula. it should be like I was moister my whole nefesh, even though I was only moister a little bit. Okay. I'm not saying that I understand this word 100%. Tosis has big problems with it. We'll go weiter. Kiko Amar Rav. B'yukro v'zoylo v'diko Amar. So Rav was talking about when is it kishas adin? When it goes up in value and when it goes down in value. Not when you added and when you took things off. You're right. When you add and you take off, that's different. When it goes up in value, right? It's like the market went up in value. Heichidami. So this is very important to notice right here, this heichidami. Because until I chop this little nakuda here, I'm just helping you out so that you don't struggle here like I did. We're moving now from Dal Vehei to Keren. So Gemara says, Keren, yeah? Not Kefil, we're going back to Keren. Heichidami. Also a little bit of an interesting word here. Heichidami. Well, what's the case exactly that I have to pay a certain amount of Kefil? Keren, according to Rav, it's like the time that he stole it. When he stole it, it was worth 1, and today it's worth 4. Yeah, like during COVID. Remember those used cars? You bought a car for like $10,000. You drove it for 3 years, and then COVID came, and then you sell it for $50,000. Whatever. Prices are sugar. So that's what happened. He steals a thing for 1. Today, later on, it's worth 4. Keren, Kein Shigonav. So he only pays 1. But wait a minute. Lema, pliki the Rav ad Rabba. This is going to be hard to say that Rav argues with the Rabba. Doma Rabba. Haiman de gozel chavisa de chamro. And again, remember, the question here is on the Keren. If somebody steals a barrel of wine, michavrei from his friend, and it went up in value, if he breaks it or he drinks it, he has to pay 4. Why? It should be like shasak neva. According to Rav, we go by shasak neva, and over here, according to Rabba, we're saying you go right now by the time that you broke it, and then tficha mechira is exactly like breaking something. Itbar, if it just broke memela, if it just broke by itself, mishalim zuzah. Now, just understand the svar between breaking itself and you broke it. So let's see Rashi inside. Rashi says they're beautiful. Oy shasi mishalim arba ubahamafke mefarish time the kolkama the isa beino rishus the mora kaimo. When it's here, it's considered that the original owner owns it when it's here. So now that it goes up in value, says Rashi, the boy ladur, because you have to return it. So who owns it? The owner, the original. Was the Marokra. So now that it went up in value, who gained the increase? The original owner. Vaishata the Tavra, Vishasi, that moment that you broke it or drank it, who the Kagazalite? That's when you actually stole it. So you stole it at the higher value. You stole it at 1, but it went up to 4. And who owns the thing, the barrel of wine? The original owner. So when you drank it, you stole it then at 4. So you own 4. But if it broke on its own, Amai mechavisle aishat the gazlo. Amai mechavisle aishat the gazlo. Vaishata zuzu the shavi. When do you mechayiv the guy? For the time that he took it out of the guy's rishos. But at that time it was only worth 1. Okay, that's what Rashi says. Vaishata zuzu the shavi. Gav tfichu mechira v'gitar v'rishasi. Rashi just sticks in that for what we just said, that tficha mechira is like breaking and drinking. Okay. Two varts on this wine thing. There's the master that sends his waiter, sends him to get a nice bottle of wine. So the middle of the Suda, the guy goes, and 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by. Where's my wine? He's getting 20 minutes go by. He says, okay, that's it. We have to see. Maybe something happened. He goes down into the wine cellar, and he sees the guy sitting there with broken bottles of wine everywhere. A glass of wine in his hand. He's happy and excited. He's mamish, fashikerd like nobody's business. And he's about to yell at the guy, and the guy says, hey, boss, can I have a raise? Was is das? This is us. We our chayta, we do all sorts of things. And as soon as we meet HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Shemona Esrei, we say, Rebbeinu Shalom, could I have a little bit more parnasa? Can I have a little of this? What are you doing? Like, that's one thing. Another thing that I saw, and again, I wanted to look it up. I saw once a Maisa Shaya that this guy, a very wealthy guy, told his friends that he has a bottle that's a 300-year-old bottle worth tens of thousands of dollars. Nobody's ever had wine like this in their life. It's aged for 300 years. So all these gvirim, they had 100 years, 200, nobody ever had a 300-year bottle. So all they came to the party, he's going to this, break it out. And sure enough, he brings it out, and he shows the oil, and they're talking, and they're all dreaming about drinking this wine. And as he's talking and trying to open the bottle, it falls on the floor and breaks. He said that whoever was there, these gvirim, these mamish, these aristocratic, they got on all four and they started licking from the floor. They wanted to taste this wine, what it is. Maisa Shaya. So, and the nimshal is, you want to taste. If it's a one-time thing, it's once in a lifetime, you're probably not into wine. If it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to taste, you taste. So stick up with yoinus. Yeah, what's the nimshal? The nimshal is that sometimes we don't do a mitzvah because we're embarrassed of what the other guy's going to say. What's he going to say? He's going to look at me a little funny. It's a mitzvah. You get on all four and you start licking the mitzvah off the floor. Even if it's a bizayin. Huh? Yeah, okay. Zog the Gemara. Babu Haldun though. Amri, ki gomer Rav. Amri, nocham al Amri. Amri, ki gomer Rav, ki goin dimi kor shavi arbo, so shavi zuzo. Oh, so we're going to narrow down Rav in a bunch of different ways. Rav said when it was worth 4 and went down to 1. Keren kein shigonav. Then the principal, he has to pay the amount that was worth in the beginning. That what was worth 4. Tashlumi kefel, tashlumi arba v'chamisha, keshas amod b'din. But kefel or arba v'chamisha, so you'd have to pay 4 for the arba v'chamisha and 4 for the keren. All right, so that's one way to limit Rav. He's talking about a case. Started out at 4 and went to 1. Not from 1 to 4, but 4 to 1. Tari Reb Chanina. Let's say you're Rav. So Reb Chanina, we have a right to Rav. Balabayis, Shitoan, Tainis Gana. We have the same case that we had a bunch of times. It's Shoy Mechinam. Shoy Mechinam, who claims that it was stolen from him. Tainis Gana, Bibikodoin. What's a Bikodoin, Rabbi Yisai? Huh? No. Right, that's what I thought you were going to say. And he's a collateral. The Olam wasn't listening so well. Pikadoin is when I give you something to watch. I don't want people to make that mistake. It doesn't mean pikadoin, a collateral, and a this. That's a different sugya. In our sugya of Shemechina, it means I'm asking you to watch my sheep. The sheep is a pikadoin. And I say that it was stolen. V'nishba. And you have to swear, you have to make a shvuah if you're a shemechina and you claim that it was stolen. And then he later on felt bad, or he saw the Edom running to Bezdin, so he lived closer to Bezdin, he ran first, and he admitted, and afterwards the Edom came. If before the Edom came, he admitted, so what's the halacha? Mishalem keren, v'choimesh, v'asham. He pays 3 things. He pays the principal, he pays the choimesh. How much is choimesh? What does choimesh mean in Hebrew? Choimesh means 20%, but it's 25%. I'll explain to you why in a second here. Right, milgav milbar. And asham. He has to pay asham. What happened to kefil? How come he doesn't have to pay kefil? He's moida. Yeknas potter. But if his haida is late, it doesn't count as haida. So mishal deshlumi kefil ve'asham ve'chum shoy oiloi b'kfeiloi. Listen to this. He has to pay kefil, and he has to pay asham. Says the Gemara, unbelievable idea. Listen to this. If he came just for this idea, it's kedai. If the 25% equals the kefil, then you don't have to pay the 25%. Here's somebody that wrote a book on astronomy. How's that possible that 25% equals 100%? What's kefil? Kefil is double 100% of what you stole. You stole something that was worth $100, you have to pay $100. How much is 25% usually? 25% is 25% of $100. If the 25% is equal, exactly, not $1 more, not $1 less, so I'm going to give you the chaimish off. Why? We're already forcing you to pay kefil. What's chaimish? Chaimish is to give a kapara. So I read it was yaitze zayin. I was yaitze with the kefil. I gave kefil 100, and my chaimish was supposed to be 100. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take that as your kapara. Great. There's only one way the Gemara understands, or two ways. Rava says there's another way. That. Oh, exactly. If it went from 4 to 1, then it's possible. It was 4. Double 4 is 4. I have to pay kefil 4. My kefil is 4. I'll pay 4 for the principal plus 4. But today it's only worth 1. So, time out. The kefil, I messed up. The kefil or the dal v'hei is going to be based on what it is today. That's what Rav says. But the keren, the 25% goes off of what it was when it was stolen. It was stolen, it was worth 4. 25% of that is 1. Today, the animal went from 4 to 1, so the kefil is 1. So now we have a situation where the kefil is 1, and the chaimish is 1 on a price change. That's the only way to understand it. Or maybe not. So it says the Gemara. But you hear what's going on here. But if it's a little off, if today it's worth 1.5, then this trick doesn't work. It's only when the chaimish and the kefil are identical numbers. That's how it works. That's what Rabbi Yaakov says it works. They argue with him. Let's see. We'll see it on the base. I just want to show you real quickly this chart. I think it's a Gavaldic chart. It was fixed up a little bit even more today. Milgav means inside, Milabar means outside. So the way the Gemara typically a fifth, if you have 100, a fifth is in America and England, in Chutzlars and in English is 20. 1/5 of 100 is 20. But the way the Gemara understood it, in the time of the Gemara, they always worked with the Milabar. So let's say you take, so for us would be 25. 25 is, let me see if this is right. Huh? Is this right? 20 out of 5. Yeah, you take 100 is 21/5. No, that's us.
25 is 1/4, but on the outside it's 1/25. It's a fifth. Yeah.
Is this good? No, 20. We call it. No, it's not good. I don't like this. No. Nachmal, I don't like this.
20 red.
We call it 125%. So we're adding a fourth. We're adding 25%. But they would say it's 1/5 because 125 is 1/5.
No, the 20s have to be on the bottom. It's fakir. It's supposed to be. What? No, the 20 is supposed to be the one in purple. The 20s should be in another box, right? It should be the opposite of this. Okay, fine. The opposite. We have to fix it a little bit. Okay. The point is, they call a chaimish 25%. We call 20%. We call it 25%. I know what you're going to do. You're planning on ripping that up. I chab. Okay, fine. The bottom, so we call it 25%, but they called it 20. Well, we call 25, they call 20. Divrei Rabbi Yaakov. Zog the Gemara Daf Samach Amud Beis. It says in the pasuk Beroishai v'chamishisov. We have this. Let me see. Chamishisa. Let me see. You're probably right. No, this is not the right pasuk. No, I don't think so. Look how it's written here. The Chamishi Sov. Yeah? How come this pasuk doesn't have Kriksiv? Okay, fine. It says on the side like you. But in the Chamishi Sov. No. There's two different pasuk. There's two different pasukim. In Vayikra, it's Chamishi Sov. Bamidbar is Chamishi Soy. Yeah. So, I think Aleph is... No. In this one, you read like him. So it means the... Beroisha means the principle. When do you have... When do you have Chamishi Soy? When you have only the Keren. In other words, the two next sheet hold that when you have kefil, you don't pay chaimish. You don't pay kefil and 25%. It's one or the other. When there's only keren, then you pay a chaimish. But if there's also kefil, ein moisav chaimish, then you don't pay the chaimish. And Rav Shimon adds, the asham also. You take off on the asham, not only the chaimish, you don't bring a carbon, you don't pay 20% if there is kefil. And now we're going back to the raya. We learned that the chaimish and the kefil, they could cover for each other. The kefil covers for the chaimish. The Rabbi Yaakov, what's the case? If it started out as 4 and ended up at 4, how's it possible that the chaimish and the kefil are the same amount? The kefil is 4. Yeah? 25%, here it says mafurish. 25% of 4. If it was 50%, if it was 20%, it wouldn't be good. But it works because it's 25%. So the 25% would be 1 zuz. So how could you cover with your kefil? Because even if the kefil is more than the chaimish, it doesn't work. It has to be identical. What happened was, it started off at 4, went down in value to 1. The kfeila zuzah. You pay the kefil right now. That's what Rav said. You go by like ha-moda bedin. So ha-moda bedin was 1 zuz, so the kefil is 1 zuz. V'chumshi zuzah. But the chaimish is based on what you stole. And that is also 1 zuz. So now you have the kefil and the zuz are identical amount. And therefore, you only pay the kefil and you don't pay the chaimish. Alma, so what do you see from this? Keren kein shigonav. Tashlumi kefil v'tashlumi arba v'chamisha. Kishas ha-moda bedin. The principle in the chaimish goes like the time that was stolen 1. The arba v'chamisha and the kefil goes like hamad b'din. No, so Rav has a gevaldik way out of this. Another chachma. No, let's see if you can be chav without looking in. He says, listen, very simple. It was worth 4 when you stole it. It's worth 4 today. How's it possible? The chaimish, 25% of 4 is only 1. How do they add up? A crazy case. You don't like that. That's why I didn't think of it. Let's see you come up with it. It's a riddle. What happened was he swore that it was stolen. Then he went somewhere else and the Bezdin made him swear again. And he kept on going. He made aliyah, made a yeridah. Wherever he went, he kept on swearing. 4 times he swore. And then he decided to be Maida. So now that he's Maida on all 4 of his shvuos in one shot. So for each one of the shvuos that he lied about, he has to give 1 zuz and it adds up to 4 zuz. HaTorah amra v'chamishi soy. Sav, whatever, it's the same thing. HaTorah ripso chamishiyos. We're going to get this sav in a second. I know, I hear that in my Gemara also is sav. HaTorah ripso. I don't argue with the Rosh Koil. Rosh Koil Zok, that came from America, now we're going to give him his thing. Fine. That it's possible to pay on one item a bunch of chaimishes. Chaimshin. Like chumishes. How do they say in America? Did anybody clean up the chumishes instead of chumashim? Whatever. You know what I'm talking about? HaTorah what? No, it says Chamishi Sav. It says Shamavs. Okay, so we're just going to go into this dig over here. When it's only a Karen, you pay the 25%. If this kefil, you don't pay chaymish. But Asham you do pay. The siv beroishoy v'chamishisov. Asham nami le'misham dok siv beroishoy v'chamishisov. V'sashamai. Oh, over here you do say v'chamishisov. Here, if you want to see, first of all, here's the first one. Yosef alav. That's the good one. The Chamshisai. Where it says the Shamir. Over there it's talking about the Geneva. But over here, as the Gemara, it says Baroishoy v'Chamshisav, and this is Vasashama. You see the second pasuk. Chafei v'Sashamai. Now, they're connected. We're talking about the Asham on pasuk Chafei is talking about the carbon Asham, and we're talking about the Chaimish. Aren't they connected? Baroishoy. It says Baroishoy. It has to be when there's only Karen. Not a. Says the Gemara. Look, the first word of pasuk Chafei says ve'es Hashamai. So they're not connected. You're right. S usually separates, but it says ve'es. It's a k'niyah vav achibur. Kids, I don't need. What do you have to put? Just start from va'ashamai. You can't get away without the word S. Why? Because Asham is for Hashem. The Chaymesh is for human beings. So we got to make a stop. That's why. So once I need the S, and I didn't need the Vav comes and combines the two. Omer Rav Eli. Nu sugi Rabboisai. Pasha, you can wake up. Gevaldig stuff now. Here we go. It was Gevaldig before, but in case you were sleeping, I don't know what he did here. Oh, I guess that's my muscle. Yosef, you see what's going on here? What was this for? I don't know. It was interesting toes. Maybe that's, I guess that's the story with the guy that drank. The guy, oh no, he's a Ganav. He's the Ganav that, oh, Shasa, yeah. Tavav and Shasa. I should have shown it then. Oh, do you know where to put it in? Huh? You'd love that, no? You're back? Welcome back. We missed you. Omar Rav Eli, Gonav Tole V'Nasa Ayil. Here we go. So here's the. He stole the baby and it became a giant bull. What is that called? So we're going now into Sugi, really. We're going into tomorrow as well, or if you stay in for the Hebrew one. There's a concept in when somebody steals something and changes the way it looks or the way it's called, or both together, the Ganav sometimes is koinet. It becomes his. He still has to pay for it. You can't get away with it, but it becomes his. Now, this happened by itself, yeah? Naturally, when an animal lives more than 13 months, a tle is going to become a Nile. And if he lives more than 2 years, he'll become a bull. Yet, the Gemara says, Rabbi Loh says, Gonav tole v'nasa ayol, egel v'nasa shor. If he actually changed physically, nasa shina biyadai. It becomes a shina in his own hand, uknoi, and that itself gives him the ability to acquire it. He has to pay for it 100%, but it's his right now. Therefore, if he decides to go ahead and shecht it or sell it, he doesn't have to pay 4 and 5. Why? Because he sold his own animal. He just has to pay the guy the original price. So Rabboisai, okay, you're not going to remember this. This is for the guys that are sticking on to the next year. These are the two shitas. One shita says, Shaloy Tever, and then Reb Chanina asks Rabbi Loh, Gonav Talev Anasa Ayil, Egel Anasa Shor, Mishal Deshnu Mikev Deshnu Marbov Chamisha Kein Shegonav. He has to pay at the time of the Gneva. Why does he have to pay at all? You just told me that you don't have to pay Arbav Chamisha because it became yours. So what do you want to tell me? You're not koina. It's not yours. When it becomes different, then I don't understand. Why are you paying for the time that now you shechted it, so now you pay what it's worth now. The reason why you don't pay What's worth now? Did I steal a shar? Did I steal an aisle? No. Like it's a lashon, a very stark lashon. So what does he say? That if you tell me that's considered a shinui when he goes from a baby to an adult, he goes to the shinui, so then there's no doubt of chamisha at all, zero. And if it's not considered a shinui, so then you should have paid Dal Vehei like it's worth now. So Manavshach, which one is it? If it's considered a shinui, you shouldn't pay at all. If it's not considered a shinui, then pay what it's worth now. Why going back to what's worth then? Maybe it could be mechalik and say no, a little bit of each. Oh, you stole. How do they call these in English? A calf and a bull. How do you call a baby sheep? A lamb. A ewe, a lamb. The kid has a different name. So today it's a different name. So just the change of the name is enough. I don't know what it's called. Okay, lamb is what? Older?
Lamb is the baby. The baby. Ewe is female, lamb is male, lamb is either baby. Unisex. Lamb.
So you know more than just piloting and stuff like that. You also understand the animals. Givaldic. Okay. By the way, if anybody wants to buy a plane, there's a plane for. Okay. You just told me it started off as a tle, now it's an ayil. It started off as a egel. What do they call it? No, and in Hebrew. Whatever. Egel v'nasa shor. Yeah, egel v'nasa shor. Omarava shor ben yomi kor shor. Not true. There's no Shin Hashem. It was what? Taleh. Shor ben yomi kor shor. An ox is an ox the day it's born. Ayil ben yomi kor. You're right. We called it a tle and an ayil, but it's always called an ayil. It's always called a shor. That a Musar Haskell. We spoke about it like a week ago or two, but the point is stark over here that a shar is called a shar from the day it's born. Why? Because it doesn't gain any knowledge or any seichel or any chachma or anything, any ability as it gets older. Whatever, the day it's born, that's it. It's locked into whatever it is, and that's it. It knows how to eat grass. It does a tremendous job of eating grass and doing whatever it has to do. But that's it. A shar, Binyomin is called a shar. Whereas human beings, we grow every single day, and we don't become adults until 13, and then even 20 is, teenagers. We know what teenagers are, not you guys. We're talking about regular teenagers, not 100% until they become 20. And then even when you're 20, 30, 40, you're not done. You're constantly learning and adding experience and knowledge and this and that. So that's sharp and shakir yom. There's a joke, because we only have one or two Hasidim in the room, so we could say it, and we'll pick on the Litvaks tomorrow, that it's a Ma'aser Chaya, that one of the true story, Shiva came into the room, he was in a room, and they brought in this, the Einikel of the Rebbe came in the stroller, so he got up. So he says, Shiva, I don't understand, why'd you get up? He says, because a Rebbe ben Yoima is called a Rebbe. In other words, like, you don't have to grow, you don't have to know Kol HaTorah Kula, you have to be born a Rebbe. You're born a Rebbe, so I have to get up, even though he's 1 day old. Okay, fine. I hope they don't get too insulted.
Why should they?
Yeah, there's no reason. It says the day he's born is called a shar. Only a real Litvak will appreciate this joke. The Hasidim have no idea what I'm talking about. Yes, he gave him covered. He stood up, givaldic. Everything's good. Huh? Yeah. I think it's a story about Rav Chatzkel Sarnai. That's what I once heard. Yaakov Avinu tells Lavan, I didn't eat your what? If he ate the babies, then what's his taina? Elamai. When he said Eilim lo yichalti, he meant I didn't eat any of them, even when they were a day old or older. If a tle becomes an ayil, it's considered a shinoi. So then, why does he pay dal vehei? Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Sheshis, Homani Beishamahi, Dar Mishinu B'Koyim Medis V'Likani. Beishami hold that when there's a shinoi, the ganav doesn't acquire it. So there's a shinoi, he doesn't acquire it. The Sanya. Nasan lo be'esnan ochitin v'son soilus. Interesting. We have this halach in the Torah. Let's see where it is. It says in the pause, we're done. Lo yisavi esnan zoynu mechir kelev beis Hashem lekechol chonedek yisoyavis Hashem lekechol gam shneim. The halach is that if somebody pays a zoyna for znos, so you can't bring that as a carbon. So let's say he gave her wheat, and she changed it completely. She made a shinui to the wheat, and she made it into flour. Zaysim asam shem, she made oil. Anov asam yayin, she took the grapes, she made wine. Tanichada asur, tanichada mutar. One says that it's also to bring a carbon from that wine, and the other one says it's mutar. But Rav Yosef, Tani Gurion demas poirak. There's another one place in Shas that his name is brought down. Bishami Yosef Bisilam Matim. So it's Bishami that says it's also why? Because Bishami say that the shinui doesn't help over here. So by us also, the shinui won't help. It remains the owner's not the ganav. My taima the Bishamai. The chsiv gam l'rabi shinuyim. You see the pasuk says gam. Gam is always a ribui. Gam that even if what is gam? What's gam shneim? To teach us that if you take wheat and you turn it into bread, it's also to bring as a carbon. So this I put here because this is a pella plain. It says shnei hem. So they take the word hem. It's hem. Hem v'lo shinuyim. That it doesn't apply to a shinui. So if you take olives and you make it into oil, you can bring that for the mincha in the Beis Hamikdash. That if she became pregnant later on, doesn't count. But if she's a mu'ober, we saw on Friday mu'ober, if she's then mu'ober, then uber yachimah, then it will be also taken. You can learn two things from the word heim. Heim v'lo shinayim, heim v'lo v'alusayim. Fine. Says the Gemara, Beisila loksiv gam. What are they going to do with this gam? That's a big problem. The Gemara says, we don't have an answer for that. Rabbi Isai, have a good Voch. Tomorrow, 7:15.